Alright, what's up boys and girls, it's me Sululeafs, and today someone actually suggested me to do this video. We're going to be doing an NFL tier list based on what's been happening so far this season. So what we have is we've got Super Bowl contenders, we've got playoff teams, middle of the pack teams, bad but not worst teams, and we've got the worst team. Now bad but not worst is like they're bad, but they're not like terrible, like there's nothing wrong. Middle of the pack is like no one talks about them, but they're proving people wrong. So without further ado, let's go into the teams. So let's start off with this team. Yes, the Seattle Seahawks. And I'm going to be honest, this has not been their season. And we can think about injuries and refs stuff, but as a whole, like this wasn't what we expected. But Pete Carroll, like he's a good coach, but unfortunately, I think as his age might have caught up to him. I mean, when you look at these losses, yes, you might think Russell Wilson was the worst QB. You may think that's just get rid of Russ. You can realize if you do that, dead cap will be a big hit. So they're still in the playoff race. Like they also have a chance, but they're gonna need a lot of help. So I'm gonna put them bad but not worst team. You might think it's the worst, but I'm gonna say bad not but not the worst. Not the worst team. The Colts. I mean, this team is good. Jonathan Taylor, please tell me if you started him against the Bills and you won. Because he lit up that Bills defense. And this Bills defense only lit up to Derrick Henry of all people. Him? I mean, this Bills defense looked like they were a Swiss cheese that is flaming. This Colts offense has now started to regain. I mean, after a slow start, they've started to pick up the wins. And right now, Jonathan Taylor may be the reason why they're still in contention. But they have a bigger road down the rest. And if they can stay on that road, I think they can be a really good playoff team. So I'm going to say middle of the pack. I won't say a playoff team because defense might have a bit of issues, but I'll say the middle of the pack. All right, Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh. You are a pretty good team. I mean, you did lose to the Chargers, but this defense with TJ Watt signing a max contract, yeah, he's a really good player. And this team overall, Big Ben regained his form after a slow start. And even though they lost Juju Smith-Schuster, you can take a look at Najee Harris just doing everything for this team. Right now, the offense is carried by Big Ben, Deontay Johnson, and Najee Harris. And their defense, Cameron Hayward, I mean, I would not want to think if this is his best season. If he hasn't made it to the Pro Bowl, I'm really proud. Then you got everything wrong. Put him in the Pro Bowl right now. He should go to the Pro Bowl this year. So I'm going to say middle of the pack, but they could be a playoff team down the road. We just don't know because of their tough division. Because there's other teams playing good in that division as well. All right, Falcons. I mean, they lost the Patriots, but I would not say the worst team because they're getting wins. However, it's just maybe against pretty easy teams. I mean, they beat the Saints, but that's because Jameis Winston is out for the season. But right now, this Falcons team isn't like the best. They have young guys that are stepping up, but I wouldn't say they're the best team right now. They could be continuing for the playoffs, but right now, I don't know if it's in their favor, but I wouldn't say they're in the. I wouldn't say they're like a player in the middle of the pack. I would say they're not. They're. I wouldn't say like bad. Well, I'm not saying that because of the worst team. I'm just saying because they need. They're like I don't know. They're there, but they're just not there yet. Like this team could go far, but well, they're still in like that rebuilding stage. But they'll be in a playoff team real soon. We won't count them. Niners. I mean, what to say? This Niners team is probably the best team I've ever seen. I mean, the Niners they beat the Rams, and Jimmy Garoppolo is playing like a consistent man. And with George Kittle healthy and Debo Samuel playing lights out, there's no one stopping this team. And Nick Bosa, if you have him for comeback player of the year candidate, then you are right. This team is, well, not a playoff team yet, but they're right there. So I'm going to put middle of the pack. All right, the Jets. And I don't think we need to talk about this team. Yeah, Robert Sala's team is just not doing a really good job. They defeat the Titans, but still, can you? This team needs to figure out a way to stop them. Like, sorry, Jets fans, but you're not ready yet. Bills. I wouldn't say Super Bowl contending team, but I'm gonna just put as a playoff team because Josh Allen is playing good football. But consistent football, well, not like last year, but still a good QB. And Stephon Diggs might be having a bit of a down year, like not like the leading receiver stuff, but still, if you're trying to cover this guy, you're gonna have a very bad nightmare. I mean, and now with this defense already losing Tre'Davious White, as you saw in that Thanksgiving game, we don't know what these quarterbacks are going to do. You got Taron Johnson and you got Levi Wallace. So right now, I'll put them as a playoff team, but I want to see what this defense does without Tre'Davious White this season. Arizona, I think we don't have to put any questions about this. They are a Super Bowl contending team, and I'll tell you why. They beat two of the three teams without Colt McCoy. Without Kyle Murray, my mistake. Colt McCoy led a win over the Niners. They lost to the Panthers because Cam Newton's back, and the Seahawks. And yeah, Seattle, I don't know what to say. I mean, their depth has really excelled because Kyle Murray, we all thought that Kyle Murray was going to be MVP, but with that knee injury, maybe dipping down a bit, but still, Kyler Murray is an absolute god. And what Clint Kingsbury has done is unbelievable. He's bringing in Zach Ertz, Kristen Kirk, developing as a nice receiver for DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, providing depth. Like, what's this team who last year finished 8-8 after a 6-3 start? So they're looking at a playoff team right now. Not a playoff team, a Super Bowl team. So this team could win another Super Bowl, but one of these teams can stop them. But who will? We'll see how it goes. Eagles. What can I say? You proved us everyone wrong. We thought this team with Jalen Hurts is gonna like it's gonna start from rebuilding there. Rebuilding? Oh no. This Eagles team is for real. With Jalen Hurts running like a Lamar Jackson on Highway 7, there's no way stopping this number one QB in fantasy. He can run like a man. Watch the Saints game versus with Hurts. You'll find that out. They're like not a playoff team yet, but they're in the middle of the pack. They are gonna make some noise. All right, Saints. How can I say you've lost 3 or 4 straight, but I can't say you're the bad team. This defense is doing making plays, but this offense needs to get Kamara back ASAP because Kamara runs this offense, and Mark Ingram provides depth. So the run game needs to be established. I can't put them as a bad team, so I can put them as the middle of the pack. That's more respective. If you think they're bad, it's just because of the injuries which they lost James Winston to. He would be playing comeback player of the year. Unfortunately, not that. Patriots. What can I say? They're pretty surprising. I mean, coming into them with Mac Jones for Cam Newton, we didn't expect much. But Bill Belichick has always pulled a rabbit out of the hat with spending every single money from that cap he had. They have become one of the best teams in the NFL. This defense has been emerged as the best defense. And Mac Jones has been been checked down play because this defense with JC Jackson, we all thought Stephon Gilmore gone, meaning this team was going to be a disaster. Oh, hell no. You do not underestimate Mr. Belichick right there. So I can't say they're in the middle of the pack. This defense is going to make some noise. I'm putting them as a playoff team. I mean, they're not Well, they are like first in their division, but this team is gonna be making some noise. And whoever's Bills, you better be ready when you face them. Chargers. What can I say? This Chargers team had a good start, but yeah, Justin Herbert's inconsistency has become a bit of a toll. I mean, they're not bad. They're not a bad team. Oh no, this defense may have given up the most rushing yards in a single season, but there's not the reason of trying. I mean, maybe it's just that Justin Herbert has had to work through all the workload, and with a healthy Austin Eckler, this team is going to go a long way. And Brandon Staley has done an exceptional job with this offense, going for on fourth down. That's a team that's in a playoffs right now. So this Chargers team is jumping straight up to playoff team. That is what I'm confident in. Now, okay, the Bengals. Wow, Bengals team's a really good team. You can talk about Jamar Chase all you want with that Butterfingers of the preseason. Yeah, Butterfingers are no more. It's golden hands. He's been making plays after plays, and Joe Mixon, if he can stay healthy, has been putting up very valuable numbers. So right now, if they can stay healthy like this, and this defense, Trey Henderson, please put him in the Pro Bowl right now. You pay him big money, that's how you're going to pay him. They almost beat the Packers, by the way. That's how good they are. They are a playoff team already. They may have lost to the Browns, but hey, they are a playoff team. This team, the Bears, what Matt Nagy, they thought they should let him go. They are basically killing Justin Fields this season. You look at that Browns game, 9 sacks. Oh yeah, everyone thought was going to go to the Bears. You get there, he was going to have more complaints than this. But they're not a worse team. Oh no, Justin Fields is developing like a good QB if with the right coaching. And this defense, I mean, this defense might not be the best, but they're generating great things at sacks. I mean, they probably might be out for the season, but hey, someone's got to step up. So I'm going to put them in the same category as the other two teams. They're not the worst team, but just if they were like something like if they were lower than that, yeah, we'll have to figure out how that's. All right, Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, I'm not going to start anything. Playoff team, not a Super Bowl team yet because they lost 3 or 4, but a playoff team. This team will go far, but their defense needs to step up. Trayvon Diggs is going to the Pro Bowl. Oh, no question. But they've lost 3 or 4, and it's not in the part of trying. Dak Prescott had a very good game without two of their top receivers and a defense that didn't have DeMarcus Lawrence. It's just the plays that are just gonna head scratch. I mean, you watch that Thanksgiving game, you would have think this was Prescott's fault. Oh no, defensive penalties cost them big time. So I wouldn't put this whole team yet, but a playoff team would be much more respectable. But if they need to start getting some wins, this defense needs to step up, or else they're gonna have to rely on Prescott too much. And you don't want Prescott to carry the workload, especially after that knee injury. But he's gonna be a comeback player of the year. If he isn't, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Miami, yeah, no question. I mean, they're winning 3 straight, but it's like they are a good team. You know what? I'll just put them out here. It's just that the Dolphins, like the coach is doing a good job. Like the defense, they beat the Ravens. Like that's a good team, but I just need to see more. Can Tua Tagovailoa take the next step? I've seen him do that, but I want to see more of him. Like I want to see defense step up. I want to see them do it. They did that against the Ravens, but I would put them just the bad side. But hey, we can see them win. Next few games. We'll see what happens. LA Rams. No question. No question. They're on the same boat as the other teams. LA's good. Defense great. Matt Stafford, great year. Cup, awesome. Running game, still there. But they've lost 2 straight. There's no need to hit the panic button. Sean McVay will catch up. But They can't. The Jets have got to be careful. You do not want to become the Lion Stafford that we saw. They lost the Niners, I get it. They lost the Titans. Oh yeah, refs. You may want to think about that play, but hey, this team is going far, and it's going far by how hard this team goes. But LA is just a playoff team. Like the Super Bowl team, I need to see this defense step up, but with how this offense goes, I can say no less. Raiders. This could be another bad downslide again. They need this win against the Cowboys big time because you're not going to be. If you lose four straight, yeah, it's a collapse. They're like a good team. Defense, not quite, but making plays when it needs to. And without Henry Ruggs, Deshaun Jackson, oh boy, the Eagles might have to think about how they're going to do this. But Jacobs is getting more carries, and that's what you need. If your star player is going to be out, you've got to trust the run game. You have Jacobs who can run for 1,000 yards. So no question, they're a middle of the pack team right now. If they're a playoff team, that defense would step up. All right, the Browns. It's a dog race, but Nick Chubb is a good running back. Baker Mayfield might not be the long-term QB we know, but he's still helping them get wins. But what I want to see is that can Baker Mayfield do what he did last year? Beat the Steelers in that surprise playoff run. But I'm not sure if they're a playoff team yet. I would say middle of the pack, but if Baker Mayfield can bounce back the next game, I could put them as a playoff team. Here we go. This one, Giants. Yeah, they're not. They're not the best team in the league. I'm sorry, but New York teams are not having a good time. It's not that Daniel Jones having a bad season. He's having a great season, but the offense is not clicking. And you saw how Jason Garrett got fired. Yeah, not a good start. And they're rooting Saquon Barkley's career. They run Saquon Barkley for a reason to get them a run game that they didn't have since a guy named Brandon Jacobs. I know that running back so much. I love him. But I want to see more of this team. This team will only go far if Daniel Jones has a good offensive coach that can help them drive the field. They did that against the Raiders, but again, I need to see some coaching changes pretty soon. Denver. I mean, they were a 3-0. We all thought, okay, they're a good team. No way. But they are like a consistent team. But I wouldn't say middle of the pack, but judging by how this division is, I couldn't say less. So this team, I would say middle of the pack because of how Melvin Gordon's doing, how their defense is keeping plays in. But if they can take the next step and get some good playing, I would think they would be a good playing team. Buccaneers, yeah, no question. You're shooting them right there in the playoff team. I can't say Super Bowl team because they lost to the Saints, they lost to LA. But hey, you look at this team, they're a good team. They're gonna bounce back, and that's just why the end of the season's been their best. Brady is there. They think he's 44. He's not a good QB. You have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. You have an electric core, a good defense. This team's gonna go far. They're a playoff team once ten, but because they have Tom Brady, they're a Super Bowl team. Like with Brady in the playoffs, it's a nightmare for anybody to watch. So I'm not saying like Brady, like the Bucks are better than these teams. Oh, I'm not saying that. All these teams are like equal as Tom Brady, but with Tom Brady in any uniform, it's scary. Detroit, yeah, they're in the basement. No more. They're gonna go 0-17 pretty soon, but let's just hope they don't. There's nothing much I can talk about other than Swift and Jared Goff. Just need John McVay. Jacksonville, yeah, they're on the bottom seat as well. No question for that. Although Trevor Lawrence is developing and James Robinson's keeping this franchise alive. Washington football team, I'm impressed. They're starting to get wins. But I want to see them beat some playoff teams. Like They did defeat Carolina. They did defeat Tom Brady, but can they defeat some other good teams? Like, I want to see them against the Cowboys. I want to see if they can defeat those Cowboys. So I want to put them as well. They're, I would say because of their defense, they're bad, but not like bad. They're not worse, but I'll put them as bad. But people are gonna think it's gonna be in the middle of the pack. So if you guys think they're in the middle of the pack, then yeah, I know the reason why. Then we've got the Vikings. Yes, the Vikings. This team is like an invisible team. They're bad. Oh no. Kirk Cousins, a good season. You saw Dalvin Cook, perfect. Justin Jefferson, he's been playing like he's Randy Moss. Thielen, also good. Defense, making plays when it needs to. I mean, you saw against that Packers team. Oh boy, you better watch out. This team is going far. I mean, they're like a playoff team. Like they're not in the middle. They are a playoff team. No, they're a playoff team, and I know why. This Kirk Cousins is bounced back. 2 interceptions, the best touchdown ratio in the entire league. This team is going far, but can they stay that way? They are a playoff team, but they could be dropped to the bottom. It depends on if they can make the playoffs. The Chiefs, how can I say this? They're a playoff team. Like, I'm not putting them in the middle of the pack. There's no question. Mahomes is going as far as the offense goes. Travis Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, well, they're not having like explosive seasons, but they're still good players. The defense, they're starting to get better. Chris Jones coming back. They're getting pressure. This consistency will be better if they can continue to get the ball more to Quiet Edwards-Helaire, who's coming back from a knee injury, but this team is going as far as Mahomes goes. They're not a Super Bowl contending team yet because I want to see more of that defense. But hey, they're a playoff team. What's our bad? The Ravens. There's no question. Playoff team is like, there's no question. This offense is going as far as Lamar Jackson. He's carrying this torch despite all this injuries. They're not the middle of the pack team. They're not as these teams. Oh no, they don't. You saw how they beat the Colts with Andrews, Hollywood Brown. You saw how they beat the Vikings. Like this offense is carried by Lamar Jackson. And although they lost all their running backs, he's still going to be running the ball. I mean, he might be going over 1,000 yards again. There's no question he'll do that. But they're a playoff team, so you better watch out. All right, we've got 4 teams left. We've got the Panthers, and they're in the middle of a pack team, and with Cam Newton coming back, this team can go as far. But Chris McCaffrey is going to be carrying the load, and this defense will only be good if they continue to make plays. I know they're like in the middle of the pack, but they could be a playoff team with that dynamic duo of McCaffrey and Newton. Texans, no question, worst team. Titans, they're not bad. They're not a bad team, but they are a good team. But look at this defense. They're making plays. They lost the Texans, but hey, without Derrick Henry, they're like a good team. I mean, they did beat the Rams, but I mean, you know what? The wide receiving core has been very weak right now. Brown and Jones have not been, let's just say, healthy. And Tannehill's have taken a lot of sacks. You cannot win games when your man Tannehill takes sacks. I mean, this feels like the Seahawks O line. And I'm not going to lie. Russell Wilson knows about that very well. But this Titans team, they are not the worst team. Oh no, they're not a bad team. They're a middle of the pack team. And they're going to go as far as he goes. Packers, what can I say? They are a Super Bowl contending team, and despite their Super Bowl contending team, no question. And it's all because Aaron Rodgers is a good QB. Devontae Adams is a very good wide receiver. Defense improved. They lost to the Vikings, but hey, they'll bounce back. But this team is going as far, and this is the last stand for Aaron Rodgers. This team is going as far as he goes. If this offense continues to be good, they can make another Super Bowl run. This could be the last one, but we know NFC Championship history, don't play at home. Okay. Well, there you go. These are the tier lists, and as you can see, a couple of Super Bowl contending teams, a lot of playoff teams, a lot of middle of the pack teams. You got some bad teams, but not worse than these five, these four, five. So, what do you think? Do you think there's some changes? Do you think that this you agree with this? If you agree, give a thumbs up on that video, or if you disagree, you can put a thumbs down, no problem, and leave in the comments what would you change. So thank you everyone for watching. As always, click that subscribe button if you haven't done that, so that you can get me to 100 subscribers. And as always, stay safe. And this is Sululeafs. Peace out.